Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming in. Hey, RG Homestead. Today on our channel, and you'll notice Lisa's not here yet, but she's coming right up. She's here just now, so I'm going to bring her on up. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, are we live?
We're live.
Hi, Carmen. Hi, Tammy.
So today we have Jesus Loving Homesteader joining us. Let me adjust my panel here. There we go. And thank you so much for coming on our show, Carmen.
You're welcome. I'm excited.
We're excited too to hear from you. And we've got in the chat Jesus Loving Pastor, Country Mama Musings, Fox Holler Homestead. Good morning, everybody. Or I guess for some of you it's afternoon. It's only 10 o'clock where I'm at.
It's 12 here.
Yeah.
It's head up my buttish 11 a.m. here.
I was just telling Carmen that I was up until like after 1 o'clock in the morning last night. We got that song up and we were so excited just to see. Plus YouTube kept giving me a hard time and trying to disable comments because I have the slideshow of the sisters from when they were little girls.
Yeah.
Hey, Southern Roots. And I guess YouTube doesn't like that. So they kept disabling my comments and I had to message them. I pinned like a comment pinned a comment in the comments and kind of said, these are pictures, thinking that they would get the idea that way. Hey, Kettle Kitchen. And then I finally did a disclaimer so it was like this series of things. So then last night I was watching because the family really wants to see those comments, the family that I did this song for. So,
yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. I was sitting in tears watching it.
But I'm sure I'm going to cry later.
You will.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Me too.
I'll just be watching things and I'm like, and my daughter's like, why are you crying again? I'm like, yes, please.
When I was uploading the video, I had Jean, that's my really good friend here. It's her sister, Debbie. And Debbie texted this morning and told me she was crying because she saw it for the first time this morning. And I told her, you're not alone. It's making a lot of people cry. I cried when I wrote it. And Jean cried when she wrote the poem that she shared with me that I turned into a song. And when we were uploading the video last night, I had Jean. I'm like, all right, Jean. I'm like, you know what? I can type 80 words a minute. Just tell me what you want to say. I'm going to put it in the description. Don't feel like you got to stop. I'll tell you when you need to stop. I'll just keep going, right? And I'm typing away. And then I'm helping her, like, with her just what she wanted to say and stuff. And I was crying. She's like, okay, can you read it back to me? And I'm like, okay. I'm reading it back and I'm crying as I'm reading it back to her. I'm an emotional person. It's an emotional thing, but we appreciate everybody's prayers. God is good. He numbers our days. It says in the Bible, and so we're gonna pray and just pray for the best. And
right.
We should all make the best of our time while we're here, for sure. But anyway. So yeah, if I look groggy or sound groggy, Grandma was up too late. Hey, Berkshire Farm. Those are Berkshire Farm. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of their channel. They're fairly new, but they're in Texas. And they moved there from Arizona. So I love that because, that's on our wish list, is to move from Arizona to a state that has just more water and resources to be able to raise animals. Carmen, where are you located?
We're in Texas.
You're in Texas, so they're your neighbors. Are you in northern, southern, or?
Northern, we're like 15 minutes from Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I love Texas. I've only lived in Austin, but, not lived, visited. I've been at the Dallas airport, which is a horrible thing. I don't think that counts.
I've been there.
I'm not an
Tammy.
airport. Yeah.
I just posted Carmen's link in the chat. If you would pin it, please.
Yes, ma'am. I know
my
how.
phone has my phone, so I cannot follow the chat. So yes, if you said hello.
Perfect. You're not alone. Yeah, that airport is the worst. Jesus Loving Pastor.
It is.
No. LaGuardia Airport in New York City is the absolute dreadful, worst airport I've ever been in my life. Like, they didn't have a roof, really. Like, it was so bad.
When were you there? How long ago?
A long time ago. Probably like 10 years ago.
Okay, well.
It was bad.
I was there probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
It was worse then.
Yes, it was.
I don't know how it could have been worse than when I was there.
I know.
I'm sure it was. It was so bad.
It was probably actually 30 years ago because I was in my 20s. But even Kennedy now is a lot different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kennedy Airport is a huge change.
Hey, Garden and Table with Heather Lynn. You all are brave. You know, I lived in the Valley. We call it the Valley. It's the greater Phoenix area because Phoenix, Mesa, Tempe, Chandler, Glendale, Peoria, all of these towns just like butt up against each other. You never know when you're passing from one place to the next. And I went to high school in Chandler, and you know, it's a small town, and I'm from Muskogee, Oklahoma. I mean, I did live on an Indian reservation when I was little, and we lived at Willow Creek, California, but it was always like a small town, and Chandler was even small when I was there relative to everywhere else. And when I was like 18, they changed the laws for flight attendants could be short because you couldn't be short. And I was 5'1". I am 5'1". And so I went to one of their little orientations, and they wanted to send everybody that would get hired to Chicago. And I was like, Chicago? Like, I have never had any desire to go to like New York or Chicago, just the city, the big city. And Phoenix is a big city too, you know, but especially when I was young, right? Only experiencing what I experienced. Like, we went to Mesa and we thought that was city. But I didn't even want to go like that big city. I'm like, heck no, what am I going to do in Chicago? Oh my gosh, all those buildings.
I don't want to go back at all. My husband's never been up there. And it's like, I don't think we'll ever go unless we like are going to a nice road trip to like Maine or something. But I don't miss New York City at all. I lived in New Jersey too. I don't miss anything up there. I mean, I miss the colors of the season change.
Oh yeah.
Like,
beautiful.
That I miss. Like, I would love for my husband to be able to witness and see truly the seasons that the Lord has made.
Yeah, because Texas, you don't get them much either, huh? Hey, Bluebird of Happiness.
That's it.
Yeah. I've learned that, you know, most places you can't go back to, but of all of them, the New York City area is not something you want to go back to because it's changing so fast that nothing looks like it did when you were there.
Yeah. Yeah. In many ways, I would imagine. I've kind of been tracking what's happening there. It's rough.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even talking about all that.
Right?
But I will tell you, add that into it.
Aye, aye. Fox Holler Homestead, very cool. We have family in Queen Creek, too. Chandler, Queen Creek, Apache Junction. That's like the nicest. Gilbert. It's the nicest little area. And back in the day, the freeway didn't even go out as far as those things are. It was like side roads and things when I was young anyways. Very cool. So, Carmen, would you like to, for anybody who's just joined, we've got Carmen with Jesus Loving Homesteader on the chat with us, on the channel with us today. And she's going to share with us her goals and things she's got for the year. But before we hop into that, Carmen, do you want to share with everybody a little bit about your channel?
I think our name is pretty self-explanatory, but but we have a backyard homestead. That's why I like to call it a backyard homestead, because a lot of people think because they have a small area, a small yard, that they're unable to care for animals or garden, food prep, and things like that. But which is totally not true. We love to live through all of these big 10 plus acre, channels. I love watching them and stuff. But my reality is we have just under a half acre, and one side of our yard is the garden, because we do have a dog and she loves to chase and kill moles. So we had to keep her out of the garden. She don't care about nothing but moles. She loves our chickens, our rabbits. She loves all our animals but moles and dogs. It's the craziest thing. But so then we have our garden on one side, then we have like our little children area, and then we have our chickens, our rabbits, and now we have ducks. So it's exciting.
I saw that.
I know, we're so excited. I was so excited.
Those are the cutest little guys. Those little ducks.
Right now, we had them together at first. Everybody was like, they'll be fine. But we have Rhode Island Reds, and they got attitude. Our chickens have so much attitude. They were like blocking off the food and the water. They were being terrible. So I ended up having to split them. So we transformed our swing set, which our children don't use anymore, into, we made it into a duck coop. Like we closed off the bottom of it, which that's another thing. Since we are on a smaller area, we're also very big onto budgeting, trying to stay, frugal. We can do things like that. We can be like, hey, do we throw away the swing set that the kids don't use anymore, or do we just transform it? So you can do a lot of that on our channel, some DIY type stuff, and using what we can with the space we have. I think it's really important for people to know that even if you have a small space, you can do more with what you have.
Yes.
Bye, Dusty. Have a good day.
And I think you guys are a great testament to that. Real quick. Hey, Twin Brook Acres. Thank you for coming in and doing better with Mariah. Good to see you all. We appreciate you joining us. And bye, Dusty, over at Fox Family. Have a good day. Hey, Drop.
Trying to post links for you guys as well. Hey, Drop's Family Garden.
So much, Lisa.
How old are the ducks now?
They're like 4 weeks old, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
My son's asking me. My dad is calling for my son. He's with me today. Here you go, buddy.
I love that.
So, my daughter.
Precious. Our grandson does that too. He'll FaceTime us.
Oh,
but you know what he says when he calls
grandparents? Oh my word!
My grandson will call my husband, and he'll say, "Hey, cowboy."
That's funny. I saw Drop said his golden comets are the sweetest birds you'll ever get. I read that about golden comets, and we did have 4 of them. And it was funny because they were the funniest, sweetest things ever until we added the other 14 birds. And then not that they're awful at all. It's just funny because we call them the goldies, and we have 1 remaining now. And it's funny because they would just peck the crap out of some of them.
Aw.
Rhode Island Reds, man. I love them.
Those are our sweetest. Those were our sweetest ones. When we always had a mama red, we'd call them, or, like there was always one of them that ended up getting a name. And, because we had up to 40 birds when we had my kids. There's a chicken addiction, and my son especially, he had it, kept bringing them and bringing them.
Well, once they get that pecking order together, they're good. When they all know who is head, they're good. But when them ducks came in, man, they were like, "Who are they?" And they are not sitting at our table. Like, it's just like.
Yep.
Do you know that you have all females, or did you get a straight run?
We got 3 females, 1 drake.
So you'll end up having to keep the drake separate.
Oh, really?
From the chickens, yes. Because
no, yeah, we have them split now.
Yeah, it's smart that you did that, is what I'm saying, because the anatomies don't line up well.
Ugh.
And it's a problem.
It's a problem. Yeah, I heard that too. But the chickens, well, the duck salesman, I figured he was trying to, but I was like, can I keep them together? They won't hurt each other because I heard they'll hurt the chickens or like really mess them up. And
Ours didn't.
He was like, as long as you have enough girl ducks for the drake, he shouldn't be a problem. But I was wondering that too. So I mean, worst case, they're separated. So I'll have to find out the hard way.
We only had 2 ducks. So we had 2 ducks and a lot of chickens. And our ducks never messed with our chickens. But now y'all got me wondering, like, were they both girls? Like maybe that. So don't listen to me. I might not know what I'm talking about. All I know
is it's the same old thing. Some people have turkeys free ranging. Other people say don't let them because you'll lose them because they'll go up in trees. They'll be gone. But other people do it well. Same thing with ducks and or turkeys and chickens. Like, so it's, you have to figure out for yourself.
Yeah.
I've chosen to keep them separate.
We had a house where we had to, our house was behind the fence. So we had to get out of our vehicle and, pull open the fence, drive through and close it. And we would free range. We always loved for our animals to be able to feel like they were free, part of the time.
My dog opened our door.
The turkeys would be out. And I'm short, you guys. Those turkeys are like up to my waist when they're full grown with their head and all. And they always want to know what's in your hands. They would freak me out. Those turkeys always freaked me out. Like they're as big as me.
They're big.
But they never did get out of the yard. They never did. And they never did get in any trees. And we had some nice trees. We had orange trees, grapefruit trees. And we even had a pine tree because we were on irrigated land. They never got up in any of the trees. But again, one of those things. And we only had 2 turkeys.
Turkeys intimidate me. They're so big and like really pretty, and their little feathers. I was like, oh my, that's like for somebody like high class.
You should see mine. The 2 males, are very dominant to each other. They could, let's put it this way, they could hurt each other. They're clearly not. It's just a dominance dance because they're not drawing blood on each other. But I will tell you right now, their tail feathers aren't looking good because they're just doing this dominance nonsense and ripping it off. And somebody's going to end up, I think we're going to have to remove one of the males from the situation.
Yeah. I can't wait till we finalize our, with our house and our property and all this stuff. We're talking about animals and how are we going to do that? Are we going to get a bigger piece of land, etc.? I cannot wait because I think I want ducks. If we can get somewhere with more water, I want ducks. And I want sheep or llama. I want an animal I can shear because I love to crochet and I just love yarn. If I could figure out how to do that, that would be so fun. But anyhow.
Llama.
I heard the protectors, that the llamas are like protectors.
The goat farm here, it's a meat goat farm and breeding, and they have llamas out in the field with them for that reason.
Are those the ones that spit?
Yeah.
Or that?
Yeah, I think they both do.
They like spit at you.
I'll get a baby, and so he won't spit at me when he's big.
Get an alpaca.
Get one of those face shields, the ones they use for masks. Just get one of those little face shields. Every time you go see them. That's what I would do.
Just have to move quick.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Tammy.
Oh, no, I can't do it. That spit's nasty.
Is it?
I mean, yes, donkeys are good nasty, for that too.
Yes, but I don't know.
Drop said donkeys are good for that too. I agree. I want a donkey versus a livestock guardian dog.
We used to have a donkey named Freddie, and my dog would stand out in the yard. You know how they go, and then she go, We could see her out there doing this. It was the cutest thing ever. Freddie was a good guy. Anyway, so Carmen, do you want to tell us about some of your goals for this year?
I made so many awesome notes, but I don't know if I'll get to it all because I'll forget them, I'm sure, even looking at it.
Just start wherever you want to start. You don't have to.
So we can start with faith. And I had a scripture that I wanted to share. Where did Lisa go? She ran away.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
She'll come back.
Okay.
I'll watch for her.
So Hebrews 3:4.
There she is.
For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God. And in Joshua, it tells us to choose in this day whom you will serve. And as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So me and Nathan, from the beginning, we're like, we're going to do different than what we had. We are going to do different than what we saw. And if we want the Lord to bless our land, we have to do it for the glory of him. We've got to do it right. Mm-hmm. And we go into everything that way. Absolutely everything, because I am a person who does not want to do something and then have to tear it all down and try again. Yeah. As terrible as it is, I will do it if I have to, but I would love to do it right the first time. And my husband's the same way. So with everything, we consult the Lord, and if we feel good about something, if we pray about it, and we just go through with it. Mm-hmm. So faith is huge in our whole homesteading, parenting journey. So those of you who don't know, my husband, he was on, I don't know if he's still on, Jesus Loving Pastor. His name's Nathan. He put that on. Well, I made him change his name to that. People were like, "Who's Nathan?" And I was like, maybe it can mesh a little bit. So for family, and these 7F goals is so interesting to me because I feel like they all just fit together. So I had like the majority of my little things, my notes belonged in like every category. And I was like, well, this could go with this and this can go with that. So it all kind of it mends together. I know family wise, I'm thankful because our family, me, my husband, 3 girls, and our little boy Hollis, we mesh and blend really well. I know they're still young. We're ages 5, 7, 8. No, wow, 8 now. 5, 8, 9, and 10. Mm-hmm. So they all mesh really well. They're all very well behaved. That is from prayer. Awesome. A lot of prayer, a lot of consistency, a lot of attention. I'm really big on pay attention to your children. Pay attention to their needs. Pay attention to why they're acting the way they are. Like, what are they wanting? Yeah. Do they need more dad time? Dad, please go take them. Take them get ice cream. Take them to somewhere. Do something with them because they need you. They're missing you. And that's how we kind of roll. We like to have a peaceful house, and in that we can't have, just like the body of Christ, we can't have part of the body just slacking off or kind of hanging there, not doing what they're doing, or not happy, not healthy, and then expect the whole body to work together. It's just not the way it's going to work. Yep. So family is very, very, very important, even with ministry, because my husband is a pastor. We have a church. If our family is not solid, the church will not be solid. Like in the building, I'm talking about the building. We won't be able to do what we're supposed to do properly. Nothing will mend. So family is very, very important. Same thing with the homestead and our animals. I don't want people to have an attitude going outside, throwing chicken feed. Just
I used to tell my daughter, and hey, Barb's Country Home. So I have 3 girls, but my oldest stepdaughter, she is much older. So I had my daughter and my other stepdaughter at home at the same time, and they're, close to the same age. And anyways, they would take turns like cooking dinner. We all kind of took turns because my girls can cook. Like they know how to cook, and they cook good. But if I had one of them that was in there that was, having an attitude about cooking when they were teenagers, I'd be like, get out. I don't want you in here cooking. You're not. I want food that's cooked with love, not food that's cooked with this. Come on.
That's
make it myself.
If you have an attitude, you need to go ahead and go to your room. You go pray about it, talk about it to yourself, write something down, go color. I'm not dealing with it right now.
Yeah. I don't want all of that in my energy, in my food. Like when I crochet blankets for my kids and my grandbabies and stuff, I pray while I'm crocheting, not like constantly, but I'll say a prayer as I'm crocheting. Every now and then I'll try to remember to do that. So if I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm praying over this blanket, if you're cooking, holy smokes, those radishes are huge. Sorry. My husband told me radishes. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Like in all things, try to do all things with some joy. Hey, Outdoors with Big Matt, good to see you.
Berkshire Farm. I put Bland's Promised Land Ranch link in the chat.
Yeah, they're almost at 1,000. How much are they at now?
$8.98.
$8.98. They're almost there.
Awesome.
Hey, Outdoors with Big Matt. Yeah, definitely. Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Awesome channel.
So yeah, that's family. We try to. We're in good standing right now. Hallelujah, and I will pray that we'll continue to be in good standing. We homeschool. That's been going really good. My daughter. Oh my goodness, she loves it. She loves the one-on-one time of homeschooling. We're we're adjusting to get my son more homeschooling. So the adjustment has been interesting because my daughter loves to have me right there, kind of like guiding her and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to help brother too. But now Nathan went part-time and eventually he's going to go full-time ministry. And so on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we also have a nonprofit that comes to our gym to use our gym for things. So as a family, which this is kind of including family too, and kind of, I don't know, just making a balanced time for us. We all have to go to the church while they're in the gym, in case they need anything, the key and all that stuff, opening it up. But we've kind of made that time our little family time. Like, we'll do school together. I'll do school with my daughter, and he'll take our son, and he'll do school with him. And then after, if we have time, there's a nice walking path by our church. We'll go out there and we'll walk as a family for an hour or whatsoever, and then we'll come back, close the gym and stuff. It became kind of like our little fitness of peace, like trying fit together, and then we eat a meal together, and then it's a beautiful thing because it's funny because like our church building literally is like our second home. It's there's just no or anything. We just go and we're like, let's have dinner, let's do this, and if anybody in our church who they're not doing anything, or we can be like, hey, we're at the church. If anybody will come up, they'll come, just hang out. It's a beautiful thing. I love that. I love having that.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
I really enjoy it. Friends are kind of the same way. Friends, I like to make time, but I also, I kind of told Tammy a little bit, I like to have some type of plan. And if I don't have a plan, I try, even as we're going into this spontaneity, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, plan, what do I do? I have 5 minutes to figure this out. Like, so when we have a plan to do something, or if we're at home, I'm like, okay, well, we'll have these many hours free this day. Maybe we can include a friend. Maybe we can invite a friend over, have a little bit of time. The kids can go swimming or whichever. So we try to incorporate our friends in our day, even if it's just messaging, FaceTiming. I try to get my dad to FaceTime the kids. They love to FaceTime my dad. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Country Mama Musings, Alicia, so good to see you. And Mr. Boots and Bounty, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you guys.
Hey. It's funny because on the future tab, like on my notes, I have no clue. I want
to talk about one before we go on to another one. I want to talk about what you and I were talking about before we went live, about how, because I think it's important for people to hear, when we think of planning and we think of staying on top of our goals. Hey, 12 Stones Ranch. I think that it's important to let everybody know, like, we do this and we try to goal set, and I love the 7 F's. It keeps me on track, but that doesn't mean like I'm on track every day of the month. And even every week I will have bad weeks, and I'll know that I feel like I'm kind of in disarray, so to speak, like scattered. And then I'll look at my planner. I'll be like, oh yeah, I was. I didn't do it.
Like, oh, I have a live at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I was down by the meat birds.
I mean, and the busier we get, some things suck us in. You know what I mean? And that's why the 7Fs for me, I'm one of those people that can be very guilty of letting work oriented things suck me in. And then, that's just how it goes. So I try to keep balance. But you were saying, Carmen, that for you, you do the same thing. You have like, a planner, your own style. We all have our own style. But then you deviate from that too. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and just
like my notes, it's kind of chicken scratch. It's like I have my little equals and then I have all this stuff off the lines, and that's literally how I go throughout things. I'm like, I take my plans as strong suggestions, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I would love to do. But if it all doesn't get done, or if none of it gets done, it was just a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
You can always do that another time. Now, if somebody was to tell me, hey, so-and-so's birthday party is at 3:00 in 2 weeks, I use my phone and I'll put it on my calendar on my phone, because I always have my phone. So like I'll put like an alert for the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, ding, 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 there's a birthday party tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, so can we do this? Yes, we can do this. I'm prepared. It's not like an hour before the party.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot. Hold on, let me help you. Nice. I'm helping. There you go, buddy. Oh, hi.
Hey, Guitar Man. Hey, G-Mon, Papa. Thank you all for coming in.
So there's always going to be something in your life that's set in stone, and then there's going to be those big suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Yep.
It literally happens. I don't have like a huge planner in my life, but my phone is for strong things. I'll tell my children, my daughter, look, that child, she is selective memory. So like, I'll be like, hey, there's a birthday party next year in January, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you what, every few months, you remember there's a birthday party on February, blah, blah, blah. So I will say the fun things so my children can remind me.
Future supervisor there is what you got.
Yeah.
Yep. It really helps having little people around, because they really do try to keep mama in order. And that's really helpful to me, because my husband also, he has like the brain that doesn't remember much either. We're kind of both on the same way. We're like, I didn't even remember, man, that's messed up. So we try to make sure we can. I also don't want to be a flake. Like, I'm really big on my word and my husband's word. If we tell somebody we are going to do something, we will cut things out just to make sure that gets done. Because I tell my children all the time, we have to stand on the word of God, right? So how can we stand on the word of the Lord and then we have no type of grounds for keeping our word here to any of our friends, any of our family? We're flaky, we're late to everything. Like, do you want to lay off that kind of persona to people? Do you want your friends to be like, I have an emergency, I have no one to call, them skim your name and be like, no, she's going to be late? I would hate that. That would be terrible. So I really try to put that in, instill that in my children. Stay by your word.
Yeah. Hey, Harvey Black too. My parents were like that with me. So what you're doing will stick. I always said if I told my parents I was going to do anything, it was etched in stone.
Mm-hmm.
There was no excuses, etched in stone, and it has stuck with me.
Yeah, and I've had to do the whole planner thing my whole corporate career, so I've tossed the planner. That's why Tammy had to text me. But seriously, I'm done with it. I've had to do all that, but however, I am a person of my word, and integrity is an important thing.
Yeah, it is. Yep, it is. I don't blame you.
There's different ways, because you use a calendar. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have a way of documenting your own stuff. You use your calendar. And I don't have a planner per se. I make my own little bullet journal, and then I deviate from it. And I was showing her that, like, I have, entire weeks where I didn't do any bullet journaling. There was other things that I had to do, and I made my little to-do list. So it's different. We all we get to pick and choose what we want to use.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about goals all day long. Yesterday was a beautiful day. I had all these big plans, stuff to do. And I don't know if it was because I had the windows open and could hear it versus not being able to hear it all. But the pigs were going nuts yesterday. And I kept thinking something was down there because I normally don't hear them. And I didn't get as much done because I had to keep going down to look. But I think part of it was, spring fever has finally hit here because we had 76 degrees yesterday, which was, whoa. And we were all outside running around, and I don't have windows open normally. So
Yep. It's the same here. It's really, matter of fact, I think we even got up to like 80, which was crazy.
Wow.
Thanks for coming in, Stephen. Hope you have a blessed day.
Have a good day, Stephen.
And Drop, that's cool. I didn't know you were a songwriter. I don't think I've seen any of that on your channel. You should share some of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He said we're helping him finish writing a song, so I don't know. Whatever we're saying. When you do that kind of thing, you're like, hey, I like what you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going through the list and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how many goals or how much you progress. Like, I guess it's cool to see your goals from like last year and see how much has changed. We are also kind of very quick at like getting things done. So it's like me and my husband will sit down and we'll watch somebody's channel and we'll see, wow, that's a great idea. And like 2 days later, we're doing the exact same thing. It's like some things we're just like, hey, will this make things easier? Will this make things better? Is this affecting the health of us or our animals? Let's do it. Like,
yeah,
we just do it. We're like, hey, this is just a great idea. Let's just move things around so we can fit in what is going to work better. And we have no problem being like, man, we really messed up. That was a bad idea. Yep. And being like, time to destroy it.
Yeah, I have plenty of those too. I think we did our pig pen. And honestly, I'm with you. Let's do it right the first time. That's how we try to do it. With our pig pens, what happened is our overall plan changed, right? So we were only going to have 2 meat pigs, and I begged Ryan for a cooney, and we were going to get Sherman. We weren't going to breed pigs. We weren't going to have 2 breeding pairs, but I suckered them in, so we had to adapt. But here's the thing. It's great because redoing it, we finally got it exactly the way we wanted it and needed it. I shouldn't say wanted it, the best for our land, because our land is rough to work with.
Yep.
But it's the same thing, with the pheasants. Ideally, I wouldn't want to put the 2 pens side by side because of the potential of 2 different breeds passing diseases, right? But they're not here long. We're going to give it a shot and see if we can do it because it's worth a shot,
I love everything you do with your land, Lisa. I think you and Carmen are really good examples of so many people want more land. And really, unless you're wanting to move because I'm going to throw out water issue because I need an excuse for myself. But or you're wanting to move to be closer to family or whatever. If it's just because you want more land, I love that you guys are showing people how much you can do with the land that you have. Because Lisa, you've got 2 breeding pairs of coonies. You've got the chickens. You've got the pheasants now. You garden. And all of this, you're doing everything on 2 acres. I think it's awesome.
And that's what I want to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mountain Grandma. Who'd you say hello to?
I was saying hi to Davis Family Adventures. I couldn't remember if I did it yet. But hey, guys, thank you for coming.
I wanted to go back to what Carmen was saying earlier. You know, you talked about having a small piece of property. And I know for my channel, there's 3 things that we're on a mission to do, right? And one of it is efficient use of space. The other one is cheap, thrifty builds do not have to look like garbage. You can build something that looks well and also is functional. And what I mean by that is it doesn't have to look like a trash pile. If you notice, all my barns have that green siding. We got red siding, and I told Ryan he's not allowed to use it. But you get what I'm saying? Like, it looks uniform. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, it doesn't matter where you are, you can grow your own food. Can you grow all of it? No. And I understand the limitations. But if you're in a one-room studio, you can grow some plants.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Make it work.
I've also learned that grow the food that you eat the most. A lot of people, I've noticed that a lot of people are like, oh, radishes are super easy. This is super easy. Oh, yeah, you have the space for that. And I'm like, but do you eat that? Like, is that going to make a huge difference in your cabinet, in your kitchen, in your preserving? Like, if you have a small space, don't waste your time planting things that you know isn't going to make a huge difference. If if your family eats a lot of potatoes, plant a lot of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
and I'm figuring out how easy those are this year. Planting potatoes for the first time, and I have got leaves coming up. I'm so excited.
And plant things that work. So, like, for example, cantaloupe and watermelon, there's not enough time here for them to grow. Mm-hmm. I'm not wasting my time growing that. However, what did we do? We grew extra potatoes, because potatoes and root vegetables will grow good here.
Yeah, and you can preserve them. Like, there's so many great things. And then that's another thing. Like, I feel like that goes next. It's like, get your garden together. And once you figure out what you're doing and you have some type of plan, think about how you're going to preserve these foods. My first year gardening, I was throwing food in the compost pile. It was terrible because I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I grew all this stuff. I can't eat all this stuff. I didn't know that you could keep food and store food and preserve things. I had no clue. So it's like, make sure you look into what you're going to do once you harvest all this food, because what a pity if you'd have to throw it out, or I just don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. I had to do that last year, and I was so mad, and it was not intentional, but it was a good lesson learned. Mm-hmm. We had the most beautiful carrot harvest, and I fermented them all.
Nice.
The whole harvest. Guess what? Garbage, because they molded.
Oh,
no. And meanwhile, I did sauerkraut that I had to go buy at the store, and that was beautiful, my first fermenting. So I was like, carrots, I got this. Yeah, tossed them all. Andale's in the attic.
Thank you for coming.
I'm glad you're feeling better, Andale. We love you.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely don't put all of your harvest into one basket, so to speak. And, that's the thing to do, figure stuff out, because that was the lesson I learned last year.
Right. Man, that's so true. That's so true. And then with fermenting is awesome. But if you don't know, or if you've never fermented, don't be like, okay, I'm going to ferment 40 jars of blah, blah, blah. And then you get everything ready and all this stuff. And then that could happen to where you're not used to doing it. So it molds, or you did something wrong. And now you have 40 jars of things you have to throw out. That's terrible. Oh my gosh. That is something I would have done. Now I'm like, now we have to research everything. Every single thing. If we are going to stick to budget, if we are going to be serious about preserving in our family, and I don't just want to end it with our family. I want to get to the point where the cabinets in our church are full of canned food that that I know is healthy for the people in my church. That I'm be like, hey, like, I want to get to that point. We want to think big. I'm like, if we're going to get this going, let's get this going. Let's encourage others. Be like, hey, we love your green beans and your canned green beans. Praise God, you can do that too. We should host a canning party at the church.
Yeah.
Let's learn how to do this. Like, I just want everybody to take hold of these things that we all are learning.
Yeah.
You can do this too.
And if you work with the community, I mean, that's part of it, right? Like when you have a small space, what that probably means is that you have people near you. So if you only have room to grow one thing, if you're growing one thing and you have, somebody in your community that's growing something else, then you guys can come together and share the resources.
Right.
And that's how I think of that. Like where we're at right now, we do the gardening, our kids have goats and chickens, and we share our resources with one another.
That's awesome.
And Drops shared an important point. He was saying if you can't afford seeds, there are places that will give seeds away. And then also don't forget about the seeds you can harvest right out of your grocery store food.
Oh, yeah.
My amazing crop of spaghetti squash last year was from seeds from a spaghetti squash that I got at the grocery store.
Yeah, a lot of organic seeds are still good. Some of them, they have some foods in the grocery store, they're highly
GMO'd,
etc. Not even just GMO, just sprayed. People love to think, we love to think, okay, this is non-GMO. But a lot of those sprays that FDA standards allows, a lot of those are pretty harmful too. So even the organic stuff from the grocery store, there's only a certain percentage of organic actually in this produce. It's by the standards of the FDA. So, keep that in mind. I know I've bought organic food before and I've taken the seeds from it. Some of them germinated, some of them didn't.
Yeah.
I think like you were saying, they put on there the seed libraries. A lot of libraries are doing that now. They're having little seed libraries, and make sure you go ahead and put into that. Like we as gardeners, we collect a lot of seeds. I have daikon radishes, 5 daikon radishes I let go to seed. I probably have seeds for the next few years. It's crazy how many seeds those things put off. I intend on grabbing a percentage of that and taking it and donating it to a seed library or elsewhere. Let's make an impact, even in the smallest ways that we can. We've always wanted a community garden or a garden at our church. We've always wanted one. I was like, I want to make a garden at the church, but I'm like, that comes with money and all this stuff. And we're a fairly small church. So what's crazy is we started hosting a nonprofit for the city of teenagers. It's really sad how many people don't care about teenagers. It's unbelievable. Very small nonprofit, but they do a lot for the teens. They teach them trades. They teach them how to cook. They teach them so many things. And they started a community garden. And they're on like their 4th year or so. And a lot of the volunteers, like most things, it started out really big. And then now it's down to like 1 person. So we ended up talking to them and they were like, hey, will you help us with a community garden? This is something we've always wanted. And we didn't have to pay a dime. We're like, yes, we will. So we as a family have been going and planting all these crops that I can't fit in my yard. All these plants that we had extra, I can take it to the community garden. And now our dreams of preserving from other people and stuff, we can help do that with things that already are there for the community that people have donated and teaching others. I would love to teach the teenagers how to preserve food. It's amazing the doors that will open when your heart is right, when your intentions are right. God will open those doors. Are you kidding? The Lord, you're over here saying you want to help the community, you want to help people eat good food and all this stuff. God is going to open those doors. Just you're pure and your intentions are right. And he will bless it. And I'm so excited about that. So we've been, and the people that we're over that, they're just really bad at marketing. It's just what it is. Some people market, some people sell, some people are just not good at it. I'm a terrible business person, terrible. Like if I start a business, I would ready to give things for free. And my husband would be like, please don't start a business again. That's just how I am. I'm terrible. I'm good at marketing. So it's like, I'm pushing this nonprofit. I'm like, look, the teenagers need this. They need that. You can go to Dollar Tree, get some shampoo, get some deodorant, do this, do that. And things so many doors are opening. So many schools are starting to look into helping the community garden. I'm like, God knows we need each other. We're all different parts of the body. We need each other. So that's something really big and exciting. I don't know. I get super excited about that because those things they make a difference. They make a difference without having to do too much. It's like just imagine if you're teaching 30 teenagers how to grow tomatoes.
Right.
30 teenagers how to grow tomatoes. You are affecting their generations coming. It's a huge deal. And it's just something so simple, something so small that you can make an impact with. That's a huge goal of mine, to just impact more young people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our young people, they get neglected, they get mistreated, they get put in a bad little stereotype thing. Teenagers, they're a mess these days. Who's teaching them? Who's caring for them? Who's catering to them? Who's showing them?
Right.
We need to do that.
So Drop said his small town's doing a community garden on an acre, and he's on the planning part of it. That is awesome. Oh, real quick, hello to Lenora Wood. Thank you for coming in.
Great job doing better with Mariah.
And I liked what you mentioned too, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Maybe you have flower seeds, right? And you want food seeds. Look at a seed swap, because somebody will take the flower seeds and give you food seeds. And a lot of the hosts will say, if you say, I can't afford seeds, or all I have are these sunflower seeds, a lot of them will send you stuff anyway because they want you to grow. And the other thing is, I know Drops mentioned Joe at Garden State Gardener gives away free seeds every Sunday. The other thing is the dollar stores have 4 for $1. And I will tell you, the majority of my seeds came from YouTubers.
That's awesome.
I won them in giveaways. Somebody
I have a lot of those too.
Yeah, somebody sent me a package. Somebody said, hey, I saved these seeds from my garden. Let me give these to you. That's how I got loofah. I mean, I've got Texas bluebonnets here, and I don't even know if I can grow them because the deer love to eat them to begin with. But I have them, so it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Very cool. You'd be amazed what one vegetable, how many seeds they'll give you. It's amazing.
Yeah, Slava at Kitchen Garden Therapy will tell you, you'll get a million seeds, and it's great.
Sorry, guys.
Those are more goals. Actually getting the seeds from your plants and properly putting them up and saving them.
I've used Dollar Tree seeds before. Davis Family Adventures.
Me too.
They work.
I've got sunflowers coming up. I've got
heirloom too. There's a few heirloom at the Dollar Tree too.
Yep. And the stores have them on sale. And what I'm noticing more and more of now is that they're doing like a packet of seeds, or in the same family. So I got a whole burpee, it was like this big, and it was an herb packet of seeds, or, I like the seed tape for carrots and stuff like that.
Ragnarok Prepper just did a seed tape video, and I've never used seed tape before.
We love it. And Ryan started with it last year just because we stink at thinning stuff. But all right, Barb. And send me a message on Instagram to remind me. And so it was pretty cool because, we use it and you just set it and forget it. And it's the same price.
Yeah. If you have a nonprofit community garden, or if you just if you go to a nursery and be like, hey, if you have, because they throw away all of the expired seeds, they just trash them. Or I know a lot of nurseries that will donate them to people willing. So I would just, what hurts in asking? Like, hey, what do you guys do with your seeds? I've gotten magazines from Tractor Supply that had the little date, how they go by, hey, November magazines. Well, gardening magazines and all that stuff, they trash all of them after they go through the thing. I've gotten tons of those for homeschooling and passed them out to people, other moms homeschooling. They're about gardening, chickens, and all that stuff. It's amazing what you can get if you really dig. If you ask, just conversation. Be like, hey, what do you guys do with these? Can I have some? And usually they're like, please, just take it. Just, yeah, go ahead. It's all you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Cool.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Barb's country home, your kohlrabi does look beautiful. I just have to say.
Everything Barb grows looks beautiful.
It does. And those kohlrabi, with the way that they grow, you could almost put a little face on them. Like they're those are the neatest looking vegetable. And I had to go watch her video for how she cooked it too, because I've never eaten kohlrabi before. But everything is looking awesome. And I love seeing people's gardens this time of year. Who else? What Berkshire Farm? They have their cabbage looks amazing, and they have a cabbage that has grown twin heads, so it's growing out this way and this way. It looks awesome.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Carmen's got an incredible garden in her backyard.
Mm-hmm. She does.
I mean, and they've got rabbits. I was going to say, she's got Nathan, kids, rabbits, ducks, chickens in a garden.
Oh, rabbits! I saw the babies.
Oh, they're always so cute. And we finally found a breed that we absolutely adore. I mean, we're slowly getting rid of our the Tamuk. In Texas, heat is a serious problem. So Texas A&M, they were playing around with breeds and genetics, and they bred a Tamuk composite breed. So Texas A&M University Tamuk. And these rabbits are high heat. They're not heat. Like they tolerate a high heat. Like when it hits, I don't know. I don't put water bottles or turn their fans on until probably like, I want to say like 98 degrees. I'll give them, and they're outside. Like they're not in a barn. They have full shade, but they're outside and they do so well. And they're so they're cuddly. They're cuddly. Like our breeders are like, hey, what are you doing? You got some food for me? And like the babies, they're all like, hey, I'm over here. And that's so rare because our New Zealanders, they want nothing to do with us. They're like, ugh, don't look at me. Stop. I don't want that. But the Tamuks are so
I know why I'm here.
Yeah, they literally don't want. That's a rule in our house. The breeders are not allowed to become bigger. That's just the way it is in our house. That was a deal we made with our children. The breeders are not table set, okay? We love them, and then once their time is up, we will give them away as pets, or we'll just have a little area for them. It's just one of the, and we can do that because we only have 5 breeders. We have 2 bucks, 3 does. So we can do that. Or we've been swapping some of our other breeds out because we just love the Tamuks so much. And they sell like this because you open the thing and then people watch all the babies like come up to them like, hey, you can touch me first. It's just so sweet. So
Carmen, did I spell it right?
Tamuk, Tamuk.
Oh shoot.
No, you're totally looking like Tamuk cheese.
Glad I asked.
Yeah, they're Tamuk composites. They're getting fairly well known now. Now that people are starting, wait a minute, they like heat? They can tolerate heat? Okay, we can totally deal with this. I know people driven from states to get them because they're pretty well known down here. So we love those. And our ducks are Welsh Harlequin ducks. Yeah. They were made from the khaki Campbell. They were like a weird genetic mutation, and they're like, oh, these are awesome. And then they continued on. They're super sweet.
Your purpose for getting the ducks was for the eggs?
Eggs, yep. Eggs. We love eggs. We go through eggs like crazy, and I was like, it'd be cool to just use the duck eggs for like baking. Just have a specific eggs just for baking because we use eggs so much. But I also bake a lot. So I was like, this will do good. I'm really excited about it. If we eventually use ducks for meat, which we could, I mean, my husband's mentality. That's kind of why we were going to get the other breed we were looking at, which is kind of just Muscovies. Yeah, we were gonna get the Muscovy ducks, but they weren't selling them at the time. And I was like, I was itching. You know how you want something and you're just like, I am not leaving until I get something. My car, I drove an hour to this place. We leaving with something. So it's like, so me and him were kind of on the same wavelength, and we're like, these ducks are super cute. We talked to the man about them. I researched real fast what they were, and they're working out really good. But eventually, if we really want some meat, I am going to get some Muscovies too.
Barb's Country Home said, duck eggs. My neighbor was just telling me, we've been here for like 3 years. We finally met our neighbors. And she was telling me that she loves duck eggs. Our duck eggs, when we had the ducks and the chickens, our duck eggs were always a mess. So I hated having to clean the duck eggs. I don't know if that's everybody else, but that was obnoxious. But they were good. Huh?
How many ducks did you have?
We had 2 ducks. And we had, irrigated land. So, I mean, they had areas, but they had a little muddy area they like to get into too. And
ducks in general are
a mess.
Muddy.
Spangled Orloff is another breed.
12 Stones Ranch asked, Carmen, what do you normally feed your rabbits? Rabbit feed or veggies?
Oh my gosh. Our rabbits are so ridiculously spoiled. I try not to spoil the babies as much because they're going to new homes. And then I get people like, hey, our rabbits are not eating blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's because they're spoiled and they eat organic produce from the garden. But so I give them about a 4th cup of the pellets, and they always have hay, but I feed them almost daily greens from the garden, like kale, like Swiss chard, herbs, like lemon balm and stuff. Like I just pick because the more you pick your herbs, especially the more you'll get. That's with some vegetables. The more greens you'll get. So I use them as an excuse to go ahead and harvest like every other day, and I'll give them really good greens. The rabbits love the greens, love greens. And we start the baby, like we feed the pregnant does greens. So when their babies come out, you know how you have to, if they're not normally fed greens and they have a litter of kits, you have to be very careful when they start eating not to give them grass because they'll bloat and they can die. We've never had that problem because their moms have always been fed so many greens that I guess when they were pregnant, all those babies were getting all those greens all the time. And when we give them little bits here and there, and they love it. We have a labor and delivery tractor. It's like a big tractor where the mom said she has her babies and then her babies live on the grass with her. Never had any issues with any of the babies dying. They do so good. We just research what greens you can and cannot give them. Just like with our bodies. If you can't take nightshades, don't eat nightshades. Just make sure you're researching what is okay for your rabbit and what is not. For ours, they get a lot of herbs. And I did comfrey this year. My comfrey is so big and beautiful and nutritious, and I'm so excited about it. I've been drying them for the rabbits, and I've been feeding the raw to the chickens, and they love it. And I'm big on what you feed your animals. And if you're processing your animals, that's going to you. And that includes eggs. So if your chickens have eggs and they're laying eggs for your family, don't feed them nonsense. Don't go. Yeah. I'll never understand people who literally just have food sitting on the counter for like 2 days, 3 days. And they're like, oh, it looks good from my chickens.
I think I'm in love. I can't stand that. They are not garbage disposals. Now you can feed them scraps, but they're not garbage disposals. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to bring them out some stuff and everything, but you also want them to have a solid, nutritious diet.
Yep. Just because they'll eat it does not mean that it's okay for them.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm not giving bread to my pigs or my chickens.
I know you guys don't have sheep, but there was this question here about sheep in Texas being highly susceptible to disease. Since you live in Texas, Carmen, I didn't know if maybe you would know the
know
answer.
many people who have sheep, so that could make sense because I don't know many homesteaders here that have sheep at all. So, yeah, I'll have to research that and see, but I don't know anyone.
That's Berkshire Farm. And then Lenora Wood was asking about securing a chicken coop from wild animals, raccoon, possum, hawk. Your coops, Lisa, look like they're pretty resistant to some wildlife.
Yeah, the laying coop. Well, the coop is it's a 10 by 10 building. And then we have an indoor run and an outdoor run. But I have seen where people put electric on it. The other thing is using hardware cloth that goes down the side of the run and goes up into a J into the ground, because if anything is digging at it, they can't get at it. But the reality of it is, if you build it sturdy enough, you still can have a mountain lion get in there.
Yep.
Just being real.
Lenora,
but
we had coyotes, and we would just, when we made our chicken coop, we dug we figured at least 6 inches below, so that the fencing goes down into the dirt. And then we made sure that it was really compact and they wouldn't, want to dig. And also we'd put like some rocks here and there around the thing too. Again, we were right on the mountain where we were before, and we had coyotes there.
We also
into our yard.
We also use screws with large flat washers.
You mean when you were building it? Yeah.
We have an electric fence from, I forget, Easy Coop or something. Easy something. We love our electric fence. Love them. And you know what? We get hawks, like huge hawks, consistently over our chickens. And I've noticed that when we select bigger breeds of chickens, they're more kind of like, I don't know about this. It's so weird. But our small chickens, done. Like, they're done. We've had, but that's kind of another reason why we get Orpingtons and Rhode Island Reds. They get so big. And when they're together, they just look like a big bundle, So I don't know if that protects them any much, but that helps a lot. But at nighttime, we always close our chickens in, no matter what. We close them in. We have the electric fence on because we've had skunks go in there and take our chickens. We've had fox issues. We've had dogs just pull those in when we didn't have our fence properly. They just, and dogs are terrible because they don't want them chickens. They just want to tear everything up. So they tore up so many of our chickens. But as soon as we started with the really good coop, we bought a really good coop because we lasted for 5 years with just a coop that we created and built up on. It was great, but we finally just were like, let's just buy a really good coop. So with the coop and closing them in and having the electric fence, plus our regular fence, we are a backyard. It's helped a lot. We haven't had any more issues. But, I guess you hit it on the nail, like, know your predator.
Yeah.
Like, if you are out there and you have mountain lions, I mean,
you got
to be ready. You got to be ready. Get research, a lot of research, because I just have skunks and dogs and fox and things like that. I don't, nowhere near, I don't have coyotes coming in or anything like that.
I thought this was an interesting share from Drops. He has Drops, can you put in the chat, what is an Australorp?
Australorp, we used to have those.
Ravens as pets?
They're chickens. Australorp.
They're chickens.
Oh, I'm thinking raven. I'm thinking blackbird.
Carmen, you need to get some black Jersey Giants.
Yeah, Australorps are nice too. They were really chill. Those chickens were really, really chill.
That's good to know because we have the hawks out here.
Yeah, we get so many. It's crazy. It's like they know too. They're just checking in.
Here, there's a black Australorp rooster.
Oh, thank you.
They're pretty.
Beautiful.
They're
beautiful
really
birds. Does anybody have, before we wrap up, does anybody have any other questions for Carmen?
Well, while we're waiting, Carmen, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
And everybody,
awesome.
Carmen's link is pinned in the chat. Mtn Grandma did that.
We only need 700 more watch hours.
Oh my goodness. How exciting.
Yay! That's so exciting.
Very exciting.
Super exciting. We were looking at it. Yes, we try to check it every now and again, but I try not to be crazy about it. Hold on.
Good luck with that.
I know. I try not to be, but it is exciting though. And everybody tells me once you get it, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. It's awesome for like a week, and then you're like, oh, we're good.
Yep. And then you realize you're only making 2 cents. So
hey, I'll take that 2 cents. That's awesome.
We have a lot of fun, and we have learned so much and made so many good friends here that I feel like that's really the drive for us. I mean,
it's awesome.
Of course, I would love to be monetized someday, and then I'm going to have to do business taxes again. But it is fun, and I love this community. So thank you all for coming. And Carmen, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We sure enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you, Carmen.
I appreciate
Thanks, everybody.
Hope everybody. What was that, Carmen? Oh, she went.
I'm turning it off. Trying to find out. This is my life, y'all. Like literally. Like.
Hey, I feel better now.
Everybody have a blessed rest of your week, and we'll see you next week on Lisa's channel, Yogi Hollow Farm. Catch us there, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks for joining and following us along. Hope y'all are getting your goals achieved, and I hope that you're gaining value from this. If there's anything in particular you want to see or hear about, and I did have a request from a friend of ours on communications. So anybody know a great communications channel, let me know. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.